Park Sung-hoon. I have a hunch that this is not the end of my relationship with Major. I hope to see you again. I'm Konglip. I hope to see you again, too. Father Park stepped out into the hallway first. The heavy footsteps of the trainees were heard in the hall. Konglip also went out into the hallway. Under the leadership of priests on the monastery side, the students were singing Manunitan entering a small cathedral along the long corridor. Later that day, Konglip and other students disbanded after a mass to mark the completion of the education. The mass was attended by the local leaders and the families of the trainees. During the mass, a white man caught Konglip's eye. Konglip had a hunch that he was Bartle. Bartle was a middle-aged silver-haired man and had a gentle impression. The quiet closed lips under the silver mustache made him feel taciturn. The gentle eyes, which contained no malice at all, were enough to impress the other person. Bartle looked good enough to think that Father Park Sung-hoon might have made up the wrong story out of malice. Konglip looked around at the cathedral, but could not find the image of Father Park Sung-hoon. Everything he heard at dawn felt like a dream. Konglip tried to hand in his resignation immediately after returning to the military. But the frozen political situation and military atmosphere at the time did not provide him with a chance. While such a few months were dragging their feet for an opportunity, emergency martial law was issued across the countrywide. Rumor has it that innocent citizens are dying under the swords of soldiers in Gwangju. It was May 1980. Konglip couldn't stand the humiliation of himself and eventually resigned. Sect. 3. Oft. 1. Dedic Science and Technology High School. In the fall of 1990, Bartle was one day ahead of his departure to Germany. When there was no gain in this trip to Korea, he began to think that the story that had been handed down from the previous generation might be just a legend. It was almost 30 years since Bartle came to Korea. The young man, who was determined to achieve his desire, unexpectedly turned into an educator who nurtured talent from other countries. Whenever he thought about the irony of his life, he had to smile a bitter smile around his mouth. He was determined to dispose of all his property in Korea and leave the land forever if he could not find a clue within 2 or 3 years. A tone sounded as he was deep in thought. The secretary's soft voice came out when he lifted the handset. It's from Japan. Spin. The call came from Peninsula, who sent it to Japan. He was collecting information by planting excellent students among his graduates in France and Japan under the pretext of sending them abroad to study. Bartle, who was listening to the voice coming out of the phone, suddenly rose in surprise. There's someone in Japan who has a picture similar to mine. Yes. A poem in the upper left-hand corner of a picture. It must be. Bartle focused all his attention on his ears, so that he would not miss a word from beyond the handset. Yes, it must be. The Aneta family finally took off their veil and made their way into the world. Bartel's words had been changed to German before long. After adding a few more words, he put down his handset and then shuddered with great excitement. He looked out of the window with a thrilled look on his face, then opened the drawer and took out a finely folded picture. The hand that picked up the picture trembled thinly.